Hey, it's your number one Grace girl, Farah. Welcome to the Art of Grace podcast, where God is creating a better you. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is season 1, episode 4. Sit back and enjoy our special guest, Sage. Hey, everybody, it's your number one Grace girl, Farah, back with another episode of Art of Grace. Can you believe this is season 1, episode 4, and I'm here with my beautiful niece, Syasia, who's also known as Sage. I'm so excited. And actually, last week when I recorded my episode, I shared with you guys that I would be here in LA with her doing an episode. She was one of my biggest inspirations to do the podcast. When I talked about it, over a year ago. And I kind of went back and forth and sent her some of my stuff I was doing, and she was tweaking it and helping me. And I am so excited to be here with her now. I just want to say to everybody watching and listening that I am one of her number one fans. Okay, she's not just a regular smuggler chica from around the way, okay, because you know that we are originally from New York City, okay?
Yes.
But I do want to let you know that she is an amazing person, okay? So let me just start out by saying that, not just because she's my niece, but she is an amazing businesswoman, entrepreneur, content creator, social media guru, all of those things all packed into one. And she's also a celebrity photographer. So I wanted to just bring her on here. You know that Art of Grace is a podcast that's geared toward women in ministry and women in the marketplace. And she is one of my favorites in the marketplace. And so we are going to have an amazing time today. A lot of good information that I'm going to share with you guys. California is a whole vibe.
Yes, it is.
And I can't believe you're here.
It is. Yeah, I can't believe it either.
Bi-coastal, doing her thing. And so I'm so excited to share with you guys just a little smidgen of her life, okay? So you guys know me. There's always transparency, and I'm sure she's going to share her life with you all today. And so give it up for my niece, Sage, over here with me.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
I'm trying not to make it very formal, so, I'm going to be asking her some questions. But we're going to be mostly talking about life, okay? Just life, what she's doing out here. And so it's going to be really good. Okay, everybody. So I want to start out by saying, wow. Wow. Okay. That's all I can say is wow. I just remember you, being in high school, taking pictures of your friends and family.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it all started. It was just a hobby at first.
Yeah. And now you're doing this as your everyday work life.
Right. I started off with taking pictures of my twin. So he was into modeling, right? Mm-hmm. And I wanted to make him into this model and give him content. And at first I thought he really wanted to do it. Uh-huh. And I realized that after a while it was actually me wanting that for him.
Yes.
And so I was just always like, let's go do a photo shoot. Let's go do a photo shoot. And he would do it. And then after a while, it was just like, okay.
He's definitely photogenic.
Right. Yeah.
He was a great muse for you.
Yeah, exactly. He was a good model too. Everybody loved him. Mm-hmm. He was very photogenic. He had a good, obviously, look in the jaw structure. And I was styling him too, finding locations to shoot. I would find a bush in front of our yard. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to look great. So
that is crazy.
That's how it all kind of started, and then things shifted.
Well, speaking about how it started, because I was just thinking about this story because I shared with you all how me and my siblings didn't grow up with our parents. Mm-hmm. So for us as parents, to you, like my sister was your mom. I have my own children, and we had goals and dreams and desires for you all.
Yes.
And so our dreams and those things that we were, excited for you all to do, you all went in the total opposite direction of what we wanted. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at, your brother, now he's a doctor. Mm-hmm. You were in school for something totally different.
Yeah, completely left field.
Complete left field. My daughter, Lauren, we had these plans of, your brother being the doctor, you're going to be in medical, Lauren's going to be in medical, and this whole thing is just going to come together, and life just shifted itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of that was, I can't remember at what age I wanted to go into, the medical field, when it all started. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm going to just kind of give a rough range. It was probably middle school was when I started shadowing doctors and interning or whatever, and then high school started picking up even more. I was part of senior experience programs where they allowed for you to actually go in there and shadow whoever you wanted to shadow. I loved it. I definitely did. Like I still very much love the direct patient care and that connection you have with somebody.
Yes.
Getting to know them more. But then after a while, it was just like, as I was doing that and then also doing photography, like I was just getting way more passionate about that and just more, I guess, fueled and fulfilled with it.
Yeah.
So like that's, I couldn't ignore that.
I feel like people look at, you know, what you're doing as a non-traditional job. Like, you know, we grew up with these traditional, you know, jobs and these careers that were like, oh, this is going to make you money. This is going to settle. This is going to set you up for life. You know, you can get a house with this. We didn't look at photography as being that. Right. You know.
Right. Yeah, it was, I mean, the first time I actually, you know, told my mom, I knew it was going to be not taken in the best way possible.
Yes.
But I also understood. Like, I understood. So when I actually told, you know, my mom, at first, she was a bit reserved. You know, there was like a lot of fear.
Yes. Yes.
And I understood that, but I couldn't help but think, you know, how much she taught me over the years. Like, do you not realize how much you know, made me confident and going after what I want and all this. I started getting what I wanted when I was very young, you know, and that work ethic and everything. And so I was like, you don't, you know, believe that I could just, I guess, be successful out of this? Like, even if you don't know much about photography and
I think it's just that we just didn't know because, you know, who did we see doing what you're doing now?
Right.
You know, and it working out, you know, because we want that safety net, you know, especially as women, we want security. That's one of a big part of our nature is wanting security and a safety net and a plan B. Right. You know, so is this even a plan B? You know?
At the time when I told my mother, like, I also didn't know much either. I had to do a lot of research.
Yes.
Had to find my different resources to go into the type of photography that I wanted to go into, how to get to those, I guess, connections, because it's hard to even find the connection sometimes. And then obviously like the whole, well, it's not a salary, but just how much photographers get paid if you're doing freelancing. Freelancing is a whole nother ball game that like you have to have discipline and you have to be consistent and have that work ethic for sure. So when I was telling my mom that, I was just like, I have this burning sensation, like I'm gonna regardless, it might be really difficult to you, and like it is difficult to me right now, but I'm not gonna let that stop me, you know what I'm saying? So it was funny, like after that we had the conversation. My mom, she, at the end of the conversation, I'll never forget this, and I love my mom for just telling me this, like and giving me this confidence. She was just like, look, if you're gonna go for it, don't beat around the bush, you know, don't tiptoe around it and be like, we'll see, or I'm not really doing this, but I'm just, you know, doing it as a hobby. She's like, if you're gonna do it, run with it, you know, and really go after it, go hard, she said. And so that gave me like a lot more confidence as I went on with my journey. And at that time, again, I wasn't like full time with photography. I still knew I had to like
put the work in.
You
had to put the work in, and that there is no plan B. This, if I really feel passionate about this, and you know, these doors are going to open for me. Right.
Well, even that too, though. Like I knew technically there is a plan. Like if photography doesn't work out, I still have other things. I have a degree.
Yes, you got it. Yeah.
So, or if anything else, like me, my mentality is like, if something falls, there's got to be another thing for me. You know, I'm big on like everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
So that's how that went.
Oh my goodness gracious! So now we know what you do for a living. Okay, we know what you do. So I want you to describe to me the first time you received your first professional contract. How did that feel? Because I mean, you know, like you said, having to put in the research, having to put in the time, make the connections, and now you have a professional contract.
Yeah. So I remember that I was hyped. I guess I should speak on how I even got the opportunity first. So one of my sorority sisters back in college, her name is Jen, and Jen, she knows how much I always give credit to her. She's like she really like just supported me in the very beginning, got me into like these connections that was super hard to get.
Sisterhood.
Exactly.
You go, Jen. Thank you for that.
Right. So she worked at Complex Media, and Complex Media has this branded content team where they work with like other companies, like commercial clients, right?
Okay.
To produce shoots and hire models or music artists and have them wear their clothing, and we do a shoot, right? Branded content. So this shoot, when it came to my email, I was just like, oh wow, like it was for Puma. Sorry,
okay.
It was for Puma and Complex. So that was their client at the time, and it was photographing this music artist named Ivy J. So I was like, okay, it's not only for Puma, and it's not only my first gig. It's also for a music artist, and I'm like, oh, Ivy J, I love her music too.
That is incredible.
And I was just really excited, and I thanked Jen a million times. And the actual shoot, they went very smooth. I had my assistant on the job with me, and he kind of actually like helped me, like, I guess, know the industry movements in a way, and just like how to move on sets.
Okay. Yes.
And just things to know. Like it's different than just shooting out in front of my yard at a bush, right?
Yeah.
Like,
hey, bro, come on over here and let me get this picture of you. I
I
had an idea today.
Exactly. I had to create a team too. And they loved the shots. We had Ivy J loved the shots as well, and the client was very happy with them, and I was happy with them, and I like promoted it everywhere on Instagram and Twitter. Like,
did you spend all your first money that you made?
Oh hell yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean it's an investment in yourself, and I mean it's an investment in getting all the equipment you needed, and getting someone to be there. So it's not like it's just money falling out of the sky. You got to put the work in for that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also had my cousin Yassine. He also kind of helped me get ready for a shoot like that.
Okay.
Because there's other roles involved, right? Like there's the client, where there's producers, creative directors. There's IBJ's like manager on set, or something like that, and other producers, and there's a whole team, stylists, makeup artists, and I have to like be a leader. This is my shoot, so that was. I had to get it together.
That's where that confidence comes in.
Exactly.
And as a young woman, how do you get there, being in a room amongst probably a bunch of professional people and
you have to keep
higher
on facing
ups?
It.
Yeah.
You have to keep on facing it.
You got to face it.
Yeah. And like that's something I learned like very early on, and it, obviously I'd say it gets easier, but like that feeling never goes away.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah. Especially if you're a perfectionist.
Right.
Especially if you're a perfectionist.
And especially if I ask for it too, like if I ask for the opportunity and it comes and I'm like, oh God, I bring in all the nerves, and I'm like, what if I messed up? What if I say this thing or take a really bad shot or something?
Yeah.
And that, if I think that way, like it's not going to help me.
Yeah.
So I have to just go in there and obviously prepare. Like I want to prepare as much as possible.
Yeah.
And anticipate things ahead of time.
Yeah. Because each client has its own fingerprint and their own fingerprint and their own style and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's amazing. So what are some of the essential characteristics of a successful photographer?
Okay.
Who, and this is like a two-parted question. I mean, was there a photographer that enlightened you, or that you looked up to and was like, you saw maybe a campaign that they did, or was there somebody who was a content creator that had something out there that you were like, whoa?
Okay, so we're talking about the actual photography, because there's also like the business of photography.
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
So okay, we're talking about photography. So characteristics. I mean, you have to have an open mind,
Yes.
One of my mentors in the very beginning, I was speaking to him, and I was saying to him how much I wanted to go into a shoot and do everything how I had it in my mood board.
Got it.
Before, like we had to do it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way.
Okay.
Shoot this way, get technical with this type of lighting. He was just like, try to just be open-minded. However, way that things flow, let it flow. You might find something interesting if you just take the shot in like, whatever way, this type of angle, and explore more. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
So I would say being open-minded, that's one main thing. to, I would say, a successful photographer was trying new things, right?
Yes, yeah.
Trying different lighting techniques,
Yeah.
and different types of locations and different type of styling, and just really opening up your mind, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I would also just say, kind of going towards like the business side of photography too. With being a good photographer is just, you have to be good with people.
Yes.
You have to be good with people.
Yes.
You have to be good with not just the talent, but again, that team that's behind you. Well, not behind you. We're all on the same level, right? But that we're all trying to get this amazing shoot.
Yes.
And make everybody look good, make the talent look good.
Mm-hmm.
And they also want to make me look good too. Like
Absolutely.
there's people, rooting for me, and I feel that. I feel it a lot. And so yeah, 2, being good with people. And there's definitely a lot more. Like that's like the main thing. Like of course, just also being a leader.
Yes. Yeah.
Being a leader, leading the team to getting what you want, because you can have a vision in mind, but if you can't articulate that vision, if you can't put it on paper or in a presentation and deliver that message, then it's not going to translate well. You're not going to be happy with the outcome, and people might be confused what your outcome actually is, what your message. And so that too.
I love that. I think that as leaders. And for those who are not in leadership roles, they feel like I'm not a leader. But I'm like, I think everybody that I've ever worked with, whether they were in a higher position than me or a lower position, I told them, we're all leaders in our own right.
Right.
Take what you're doing and make the best with it. Like you said, don't just stay,
right.
I love that.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So I got another question for you. And I think that this one, what's your favorite style of photography? Celebrity portraits or genres? What's your favorite type?
Style.
Do you have a favorite?
I do. I love editorial.
Okay.
So editorial is more like with magazines. And it's just like a different type of feel than, let's say, advertising and commercial.
Okay.
Right? But it's funny when I say that, though, because a lot of my work is advertising and commercial. Because I work with like a lot of, commercial clients.
Yeah.
But in the very beginning, when I was like developing my niche, how you say
your niche. Yes,
yeah.
Your niche.
I love both. But,
yes.
I got this really bad advice where they were like, okay, you got to stick to this one industry, advertising industry or editorial or just portraits or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's tough. I can't really, you can implement all of those into like one kind of shoot if you really think about it.
Oh, I love that.
So that's one thing that I like, you know what, I'm not going to listen to that advice. I'm going to combine the editorial feel and the look and feel and style with commercial clients, because a lot of commercial clients have that clean, polished look. There's no storytelling behind it as much, and that's what I want to bring to the table. I want to bring my storytelling, my stories from like my community, any community that I am a part of, highlighting our experiences for this brand, right?
Yes.
So that was like, I'm like, yeah, you can say that advice to me, but that's going to just put me in a box.
Well, I love that you go with your heart and your spirit, I mean, yes, it's okay to take advice, but you're your own person.
Right.
You're your own person.
Right.
Oh, I love it. So what details do you enjoy focusing on in your work? So is there like specific details in your work that you enjoy more than not? I mean, you mentioned all the things with the lighting and the equipment and, the place.
Yeah. I would say the number one thing that I love about photography is lighting, actually.
Okay.
And to me, I would say that that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
If something isn't lit well, it's to me. I mean, everything. I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously, photography is an art. It's subjective.
Yes. Yeah.
So moodier lighting.
Oh yeah.
Which is a lot of my work, my personal work. Like, I have a lot of moodier lighting and like side lighting. The shadows fall on the side. We have great light highlights on the side.
Yes. I've seen those. They look amazing.
Right.
It totally changes the story.
Exactly.
Behind the picture, which is, I mean, I would have never even thought about that.
Right.
I've never thought about that. Know what you were going for.
Right. One of my models I guess developed in the very beginning of my career was like, I don't shoot what it looks like, I shoot what it feels like.
Yes,
right. So
yes.
When I think about that motto, I'm like, okay, what can I implement in my work to really bring about that feeling? And the main thing for me was lighting. And then 2 is obviously the performance, I guess, from the model themselves.
Yes,
or the
yes.
subject, whoever that
Yeah.
is.
Do you get a chance to speak to them first to kind of share your vision, so that way they're in you're all coming in a mood, and you're setting that.
Right.
You're setting the tone.
Absolutely. So yeah, before every shoot, and it depends on the concept. The concept is different for what we want out of our talent.
Yeah.
Usually we want them to be their authentic selves, right?
Yes.
But before every shoot, I always talk with the talent beforehand. I introduce myself. We just kind of maybe not even talk about what's about to happen. Just like get to know them on like a level outside of the studio, outside of photography and shoots, right? So I get a feel for who they are.
Yes.
And yeah, those like first I guess the first minute of meeting them, I can tell if they're very reserved. And it's really nice when I can open them up as we're shooting too, and like even in the very intro I guess talk, I can see how they're opening up and like they're laughing.
Yes. I love watching. I've seen some of your videos on Instagram and pictures, and it looks like you're having fun. It doesn't feel like work. And that's what I love about what you're doing. I think you told me that it doesn't feel like work.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Not
like us. Like, we have these jobs and these careers that have bogged us down.
Yeah.
And it's like you're doing something that you love, and so it doesn't feel like work.
Right. It's really hard though. It absolutely does not feel like work for me, and I can go on and on and on throughout the, I guess, after hours, within the day, 12 o'clock at night. It's not good though, I realized.
Yes.
I learned I got checked from my wife. She was like, we got to set boundaries. Like that's very, like, she really helped me with boundaries. And
that
like
work-life balance. Balancing that work and everything. Because
exactly.
it's hard for us as women to put things down and to walk away because we want to finish it. Who else is going to do it? We feel like, we have to have the final hand on things.
Right. I remember I was in bed. I was pretty much settling in, and it was like 11 o'clock. And the producer calls me, but the shoot is like tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I have to answer this call. It's probably important, you know?
And you hear what you just said? It's probably important. It's probably.
Yeah. But it wasn't when I picked up the call.
It was like, we have had this conversation tomorrow?
Right. Or we could have just, she could have just texted it or something. But definitely setting those boundaries is like very important for me in my relationship and my marriage. So, but yeah, going back to your original question.
Yes.
Which was, remind me again. I'm sorry.
No, this is amazing. Oh, what details do you enjoy focusing on in your work? What details? So we talked about the lighting.
I spoke about that.
Yes.
I think there was another one after.
No.
Okay.
I think I kind of just went off because it's just so meaty. I mean, I don't know anybody that takes pictures or, that does photography. I mean, because it's so broad. I think that we kind of trim it down into just taking pictures, and it's not that.
Nope.
It's not that at all.
No.
So I love how you talked about, the mood and, what's going on around you, the feel, the place,
Right. There's a lot more that goes into...
So this one here for you, and this is going to make you laugh. What are the differences between photography in New York and LA, and is that something that influenced you to move here, to become bicoastal?
Oh.
Because, you were doing your thing in New York City.
Yeah. First of all, I love New York. I have not fully left New York. Right?
Yes.
Like, I'm still, like, bicoastal. And I never will. Like, I'm going to always have my obviously my family, my friends out there.
Yes.
And my clientele that are already established out there.
Yes.
The style in New York, the environment,
yes,
the attitude, just you can't top that. I'm sorry, you can't.
Don't get mad, LA people. This was my question to her. Okay,
you can't top that. So that's my answer. I'm gonna just always side with like the New York environment.
We're Brooklyn girls, New York girls for life. That. No matter where we move to in the world, LA is a total vibe. Now, look, I love coming to the West Coast. I absolutely love it. Once I get over the jet lag, and I get that good sleep,
Right.
But yeah, you're right. The landscape is very different.
Right. Yeah.
The landscape in itself is different. So like you said, taking pictures there versus here, indoors, outdoors, the culture.
Yep.
I'm sure it plays a big part
Yeah,
in that as well.
To me, there's a lot more culture within my communities out there in New York.
Yeah.
For sure, and that's what I strive for within my actual photography style. But in LA, yeah, things are more open. It's a lot of palm trees and sunny weather. Nice weather. The home styles is different and everything. Like when I want to just kind of shoot on the street, like it's not like apartments or whatever. Or, nice those crosswalks and like just the New York street. It's different. It's different. The delis and you get just so much texture. That's how I kind of think of it. And the energy again is just unmatched from the people out there too.
That was my question, people. Don't be upset with her. Is social media something that drives your profession, and how do you get your clientele? So is that a big part of it?
Absolutely. I mean, if I didn't have social media, I actually wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure there's a way, like I do have a separate website, but social media is my, like, Instagram, for example, is my main portfolio with allowing people to see my work easily. So producers or art directors, creative directors that I may not even know might come across my work first on Instagram.
Yes.
People
do you think they're coming across because they're looking at your page, or what you've done, people are sharing it?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Instagram, it shares stuff to the Explore page and stuff that I don't have control of. And someone from Nike might come across like, oh, who's this photographer? And then they, come into my page on Instagram.
Yes.
If they love the work, they might, email me. I'll have my email button on there.
Okay.
And yeah, so with that second question you mentioned, with finding those clients, so it's hard though. I'm gonna just say that with finding my clients in the very beginning, like I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna get to working with Nike?
Yes, yeah.
It just seems like unless you don't know anybody, like literally like in your close circle, not close circle, but just a peer, right?
Because you weren't one to be like, we grew up being out in the streets, being out, hanging out, maybe going to clubs and things like that, but you weren't that. So how did you then how did that come together to where you had this network?
Right.
Well, we also didn't have social media. We also didn't have, you guys have like that leg up on us.
Yeah. I had to put myself out there, I had to get out of my comfort zone in my home. It was really hard for me to actually like go out and do in-person interviews and go for coffee with someone that works at this company. Like I would be really, really nervous.
Okay.
And public speaking and like just talking to somebody to get an opportunity, I mean, I can do it, but at that time, like I would probably just stutter more or mumble or whatever. And then 2020 happened, it was Zoom, so things were easier. I had a little blockage. So Zoom actually did help me though with articulating my words and knowing what to speak on. And it just helped me get that confidence for when I did have to go back in person.
That's awesome.
But finding the clients, right? That question.
Yes.
I use my resources with YouTube. I'm like, okay, there's got to be another photographer that's speaking and giving the tools to find clients. So they mentioned LinkedIn.
Okay.
Right? So LinkedIn allows you to find who works at a company. Okay. And I tried reaching out to people on LinkedIn that like is in the marketing departments for whatever company is, that I want to work with. So I would
it's a
try.
good starting point.
Yeah. It's a great resource for just finding a lot of people at a company, and so I would try to reach out to them on LinkedIn, but I wasn't able to get as much responses as I wanted. And I think like I had a trouble with the instant gratification kind of thing. Yes. I wanted somebody to just
answer me right now.
See me. Come on, like my work is great.
I'm texting you and I want to answer back today.
Yeah. And not many people were responding, and I was sending out. I was on my hustle. I was sending out like 70 people a day. Sorry, 70 messages to people.
That's amazing.
I was just
because you make that like your daily job. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is my task for the day. I want if you're trying to grow your business, you decided to set intention and to sit and say, I'm going to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, it takes up a lot of time. There's
Yeah.
a lot of behind the scenes work other than just doing a shoot in a studio or whatever. So I realized that wasn't really working out for me as well. But then I was like, you know what? I don't think people would really find it too informal if I go to Instagram. So I would use LinkedIn to find the names and then slide in their DMs. Like,
see me. But you slid into the DMs in a good way. In a professional way.
Yeah, of course, definitely. And it also helped too because they could just see my portfolio. Remember I was speaking earlier about how they could see my work easily. And that helped a lot more. That helped a lot more. So I was getting better responses. I was setting up Zoom meetings or in-person meetings.
Nice.
And from there, I was just able to just really kind of take off and That
is amazing.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I mean, I had no idea. It's work. And everything that you want, it's work. You know, you have to work for it. You know, you can depend on these relationships that you have and maybe networking, but it has to be you. You have to be your number one fan.
Right.
With you taking pictures of celebrities, is there a confidentiality disclosures that you have to, abide by?
Yeah, non-disclosure agreements.
Yeah, because I noticed that I was looking at your Instagram and I saw like a lot of the photos that you had up there, and I knew that you couldn't name everyone per se, but your Instagram is showing who those people are. So,
right.
I
mean, with every project there is a non-disclosure agreement. Like if it's they send out non-disclosure agreements for like certain concepts, too, creative concepts. And then of course, like with celebrities, like you cannot speak on it until it's actually live, maybe. Right?
Yes.
But definitely you can't record on the shoot like BTS or anything. You can't get them unless it's like approved. You have to just get everything approved. So
So who are some of the celebrities you can name? I mean, because we're going to share with you at the end of the podcast how you can find her platforms, but just looking at your page today, I some of them I didn't even know you did. I'm like,
oh, really?
Why didn't she send this to me? I didn't even know.
Yeah. I mean, the main one that I'm just like always like, wow, I really photographed her is Michelle Obama, right?
Incredible.
That opportunity was just unbelievable. It was like a last minute request, like they just hired me last minute. And I dropped everything to
goodbye, everybody.
To fly out to Atlanta, and
oh my God,
I could go on and on, but
and so even still, when you get these calls, what does it do to you? Because lots of times you have like hours in between these flights and getting there, and you're thinking about it, you're processing, like what am I going to do? How do you feel?
I'm gonna keep it real. I still get nervous. I still get nervous, but there's just they're regular people.
Yeah.
If I don't know who you are, it's so much easier if you just tell me like maybe after the shoot.
Let me just show up. Let me show up.
Right.
Oh
Exactly. So Michelle Obama. And recently, most recently, I can speak on Nas. That was pretty crazy. Lil Wayne was pretty crazy too. That was just like, I can't.
Okay,
it's also different.
Okay, girls, I had no idea of this. You're finding out the same moment that I am, because I didn't even know this. My older sister, she always sends me your stuff, like, oh my God, look where she's at today, and we get so excited for you. But as she's telling it, I'm hearing it for the first time. Some of these people.
I thought you knew about the Nas.
I had no idea. Yeah.
Jeez, sorry.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, that one was for Billboard.
Wow.
Billboard, they had like a award show too.
Okay.
And in the backstage there was like a portrait booth set up, and all the music artists came in the back and
that is
did a
so
little
cool.
Photo booth with me. Okay, so the first person where I was like, I guess the first celebrity
where you wanted to faint.
Well,
I mean, because you can't be a fan in the moment that you're recording, that you're doing your shots.
Right.
You have to be totally blank.
Right. Oh yeah. No. But I will tell you though, if I'm nervous before a shoot and I'm like, I'm kind of antsy, it goes all out the door. Everything as soon as they walk onto set, onto the set. Like, I have to. I mean, I don't even realize it though. I'm not gonna say I have to. I'm just like I turn into like this new version of myself where I'm like. I guess just to sum it up, like I'm just like on it, like I'm on go mode, you know? And I'm in director mode. Like now I can't mess up in a way. I just like, all right, I'm here.
Let me shake this off. Let me shake this off.
Exactly.
Wow.
I remember when I first met Ciara. I photographed Ciara.
I love those pictures of her that you did.
Yeah. She was like the first, I guess, music artist that I photographed at that time. First female music artist, and I was just like, I'm photographing Ciara. And I love all of her music, you know.
Yes, who doesn't?
And when I met her, her voice is so soft, and she says, you know, I love your work. You have amazing work, beautiful work. And I'm like, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
And then I photographed her, and she was killing it. Like she was
of course,
great. We was feeding off of one another. She was, we were having her jams being played, and she was dancing, of course.
Yes.
And yeah, after that shoot, you know, I called Ashley, my wife, and she was just hearing me. I was just going off like, yeah, I photographed Ciara. And I also forgot to mention that I have Ciara's info. She's like, yeah, let's exchange info and work together again in the future.
That's amazing. Because that's the thing. Because, you know, I could imagine that some of these celebrities, they want to have their person, you know. I only want this person to shoot me. Like, you know, there's such a great connection. Right. You know, so I love that. Right. So with any of these celebrities, have you received any referrals from one of them? Oh, hey, to another person per se.
Ooh,
that you know of, because maybe, you know, you took some shots and had no idea that there was a connection there.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I might have, you know. I can't really know off the top of my head, actually. I'm trying to think back to everybody I photographed.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And guys, she's very young. She's acting like she's so old, and she's got to think back to way yonder, back over there. Okay, she's super young, and you know, this is all like, how many years are we talking? Like
being in the industry?
Yeah,
since 2019. So.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, that's not that long, and you know how much you've accomplished in that time. That's amazing. Yeah. So I love this. How do you handle clientele who have an entirely different vision compared to what you think is best for them?
That's best for them.
Yeah, I mean, you see them tough. And you know.
Yeah, it's tough because they have their own, you know, creative teams and creative directors.
Yes.
Sometimes, I guess for me, I've been working through this though. I don't want to step on the creative's toes. Yes. And then have them like, okay, we're not hiring her again or whatever.
Yeah.
But I try to be as collaborative as possible.
Yes.
And I always say, what vision I have in mind.
Yes.
Because they still come to me for my vision, you know, and I have to speak up, you know, and just contribute in some way to fulfill my creative needs. Because
they've seen your work and they're like, okay, I want what she's doing. Right. It may not look the same as that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just have to be vocal on certain things, and especially when it comes to working with my community, Black people, like. There's, you know, some teams where they overlook certain things, and I have to, like, you should think about how this is gonna, you know, I guess, roll out in a way.
Yeah.
Or even when it comes to like seeing the talent come out and seeing her hair in a certain way, like, you guys probably shouldn't do her hair. Like, let's try this style. Just speaking up, like, because I want everybody. We're not gonna be looking crazy.
Yeah, because these are forever visuals. You know, whether they're on, because I mean everything now on the internet is permanently there, so they say. Right. So
and I just did a shoot. I won't speak on like, you know, who that was with, but the client had like a certain type of color grade that they wanted on the images. And actually one thing about me is I never want my color to be touched, because the color is like the most important, well, not the most, but one of the most important things to my style.
Yes.
Right? So we spoke on lighting. That was like the top thing. My color grading.
Yes.
That's something I always want intact, and really just shows like, oh, that's Sage's work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So you have your brand, that's your brand stamp almost.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The lighting and the colors and the way I shoot the angles, like that kind of all contributes to my work. But a client, they had this certain type of color grading that they had examples of the color grading on on people that were white, right? And they wanted that same type of color grading, and I was photographing people who were black.
Yeah.
And it was not portraying them in the best light.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need that melanin to show, to
you can
glow.
see that in, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I pushed back, and I definitely spoke up. I'm like, listen, I'm sure you can understand that this is not black people that you're showing me on this other example here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you that let's maybe warm it up a little bit.
Yes, yes. Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Things that we don't think about. We think that, you know, we just throw things together for whatever. You know, I mean, we're all human beings, but, you know, there's some things that, you know, we are who we are. We can't wash this off, you know.
Exactly.
I totally understand that. I think that that's amazing because I have a question towards the end that we're going to talk about. Do you like working solo, or do you think it's time for you to get a team? You think it's time?
Oh, well, no, I am not solo, actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, but you do a lot of your own stuff, right? I mean, how big is your team? How has your team grown? Because I know we were together last year and we were talking about this, you know, getting a team of people together and, you know, who you have with you. So, I mean, you're getting to the point where you know.
Yeah, so are you referring to like all my shoots?
Yeah, your shoots. Like your shoots, people who are coming out with you to your shoots, maybe to make it work, to bring it together. Yeah. You know.
So, I've always had a team, like on the actual shoot days and everything.
Gotcha.
I always have assistants, first assistants, second assistants, and digital techs too.
Yes.
That's part of the photo team.
Yes.
And I have connections in LA, New York, some in like Atlanta or wherever.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's always a team. Always a team within going into production shoots.
Which is great because you're helping to, you know, you're giving them work.
Right.
You know, you're I mean, which is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Helping to be a part of, you know, them having a job. Yeah.
And I have like a little family now with like my New York crew. And even out here in LA now. And I have my go-tos, people that I trust, people that know me.
Yes.
And every now and then, like, of course, like I want to work with new people and see how they are and how we kind of work together and just give somebody else the chance.
How are you finding them? Are they being recommended, or people reaching out to you?
People reach out too, and sometimes I reach out to them, you know, or they're referred to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I love their work, I love their lighting. I hire lighting directors to actually help me on my shoots where I can just focus on the creative solely.
Yes,
and they can handle the lighting in a way that correlates with my vision. Right?
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm never solo.
Nice.
So, I am a freelance artist. I have an agent.
Okay.
My agent helps with like, you know, getting the clients, negotiating, communicating actually with them.
Yes.
And that takes a lot off of my plate.
Yeah, because I know you've done a lot of that for yourself in the past.
And yes, in the very beginning, before I had an agent, like I definitely was doing that, and I do love it too. I do like, you know, actually having that direct connection with the clients.
Yes.
But then, you know, as I thankfully, you know, moved up with my career, like the work was just getting too. Yeah, it was a lot.
I've got to hand this off to somebody. And it's okay to delegate that, especially if they can take the time to really sit. Because if you're on set all day and you're working 10, 12 hours a day and then coming home and trying to do that and make the connections, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I have a lot of people in my team, and I love them all.
Awesome.
And they're all so talented too. So
family. Talented. I don't know if we have any family in your team. That's
no.
in the field. You know.
Yeah. No. Not at this time.
Yes.
Not at this time. But we did. Yeah. And yeah.
Okay.
It was a shift.
So, when do you feel like you found your voice? When do you feel like you found your voice? And
when do I feel like, okay, so I'd say maybe at maybe 2.5 years ago or so. Okay, so I realized my purpose within
Yes.
photography, and in the very beginning of my career, like, I was also very intimidated, right? Because like I didn't see many photographers like me,
Okay.
successful photographers,
Yes.
going into the industry that I was trying to get into.
Yeah. Because
But-
it's funny that you're saying that, because I mean, we know that there's so many people taking pictures
Mm-hmm.
because we have these phones now, and but they're not doing it in a way that you're doing it with a camera.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and setting intention with it and saying, okay, I'm going to do something with this because I want to see it printed.
Right. It's
I want to
different.
see it not just on my Instagram page.
Right. Right.
You know.
Yeah. And so I'm sorry, repeat the question.
When do you think you found your voice? So you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
talking about
okay.
2.5 years ago.
Right. Yeah, like around like 2.5 years ago. But in the very beginning, I was intimidated by the industry because of not seeing myself. But I
Yes.
was able to find some people. So it gave me hope. Like, oh wow, this
Yes.
photographer is amazing. And they're well in their career too, and they have all these clients, and I love their work. The lighting, the style is great. I had a lot of people that I looked up to as I continued like diving deeper into Instagram.
Yes.
I just had to find that community, and
Yeah.
it's not easy. You got to just, I guess.
I was tickled this week because I had shared with you guys on my last episode that I was going to talk to my niece, and I was sharing with somebody this week that she's a celebrity photographer, and they was like, is she a paparazzi?
Oh.
And I was like, no, she's not paparazzi.
Not at
I
all.
can't see you running through the streets of LA in a car or
No.
getting a drone. I just can't see that.
No, that lifestyle photography is just like
Yes.
a lot. It's a lot, and I feel like it's a lot of anxiety too. and
Yeah.
just too much.
I mean, do you see that here since you've been here? Do you ever see something like that?
No, actually, not
Yeah.
directly here in LA. Like photo ops, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I have not, but
Yeah.
I'm sure I will. I will
Yeah.
come across it.
I know that me and Lauren, we were down in Santa Monica today on the pier, and Lauren saw a famous TikToker,
Yeah.
but she didn't want to say anything to her or whatever. But
Yeah.
I just laughed because she's like, I want to see a celebrity. I want to see somebody. I'm like,
Right.
don't know if we're going to really bump into somebody.
Right.
And so she saw the TikToker today. So I guess that's as much of a celebrity as we're going to see.
Yeah, I love that.
And you talked about this a little bit, how you describe your artistic style.
Yeah. My work is very much rich in color. At this time, in the beginning, it actually wasn't. When I see how my work has, I guess, evolved and progressed over time, I don't know why. I try to pinpoint it. I was just gravitating towards these like more muted colors in the beginning, somewhat.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that as you've grown as an artist that you're evolving in your photography in the sense with your look and your vision? Yeah, people can look at your pictures and say, okay, this is Sage's pictures.
Right.
But I'm sure you see changes from when you started.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. The way I shoot though it's pretty consistent with the beginning, like the angle
Okay.
of my composition, the way I frame up a shot, the
Got
way I
it.
direct my talent, of course, like that hasn't changed. Aside from like me maybe just getting more experimental with like crazy angles, yeah.
Okay.
But the colors have changed, and the lighting definitely has changed into like more of this like moodier side kind of lighting, and it just gives a more interesting look to me.
Okay.
And I've been also experimenting with more like colored lights
Okay.
for campaign shoots. A lot of my work is also in studio at the moment,
Okay.
and I'm trying to like fix that and like do more outdoors work.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you love doing
I
outdoor
do.
work. A lot of your work from in New York City was like outdoor. I was looking at
Right.
some of it today.
Right. That's
Yeah.
how I started out. A lot of my work when I was photographing my brother was outside.
Yeah.
And I got really comfortable with the natural lighting from the sky,
Mm-hmm.
direct sun or clouds for very soft lighting on my subjects. And then I was getting a lot more studio projects.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of like how my portfolio shifted into that.
Got it.
But that's why I try to do personal projects where I have
Yeah.
full creative control of the location, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. So how do you think your upbringing shaped you?
I I think that my upbringing has definitely made me like a go-getter or a hustler.
Oh yeah,
I
because you already know, in our family is some strong women.
Yeah.
Very strong. Very, very strong.
And I don't take no for an answer. Like, I mean, of course, like I have to sometimes, but like I'll find an alternative to get to that same goal.
Yes.
This person didn't answer or this thing didn't work. I'll find another way.
Yes.
That's just as good or whatever.
You definitely get that from your father.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, my relationship with my dad actually has
super cool. Super cool. I love him.
We've gotten so much closer.
Yeah.
Since 2019 or 2018 because he's an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And I'm an entrepreneur. I mentioned the business side of photography. I was going to him for a lot of those, I guess, hurdles I was trying to get to, like with starting an LLC.
Yes.
And having a business bank account or whatever, payroll, stuff like that.
Yes.
And not that I'm like in charge of payroll, like an actual payroll, but like just paying people out and contracting different vendors and stuff. My dad, we've definitely got a lot closer, and I love my dad so much
because you guys have so much in common in that. You have so much in common in that area for sure. And then of course my sister. I mean, you have a lot of her in you as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's my mom. She's a go-getter. She's a hustler too.
Yeah. We had to.
Yep. She sacrificed a lot, and I look at her in a way where there's things that she obviously wants to accomplish too.
Yes.
And she's given me that, like, again, I mentioned it just now, like that hustle mentality for sure. Like I know my dad has, but she also doesn't take no for an answer.
Yes.
And she gets what she wants too.
Absolutely. Yeah. My daughter was saying today that, Mom, we come to you for things because we know we know you're going to get it done. Like,
right.
We know that you're all about business. There is no for you.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
there is no.
Exactly.
So.
And even like, when you might have like those days where like it just feels really like, I guess, low, but you push through, and that's something my mom, like, she pushed through. She always pushed through.
Yes.
And even if it wasn't like particularly with work, like with just any issue, like she was just always pushing through.
Yeah.
So I really admire her for that.
Good. I'm so happy. Let's see here. So what future projects can we look forward to seeing you partner with? Any future projects that you've found out about? Yeah, that you're working on.
Oh yeah. I recently was on this like week-long shoot with Adidas, and it was this really cool campaign I can't speak on just yet.
Yes.
Just photographing like a lot of people that I look up to, let's just say, put it like that. And so I'm excited for that to come out. Maybe we are in August. Maybe I think it's gonna be out in September.
Okay.
I have some new director work rolling out this fall too.
Yes, because you did tell me you're leaning into that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Directing, I love directing. That has come with the game of photography because I have to direct my talent, my team on what I want. Yes. And now directing for like actual commercial shoots or motion is like a whole nother ball game. I will admit that. Yes. But I do love it.
Awesome.
Because of the control within the vision that I have. So
yes. Any clients that you wish you could have, any clients that you would like to, do a campaign with, somebody that's like inspirational to you, someone that you would like, I really want to photograph them. I want to have my name on that. right now in this era.
Okay, so we're speaking about I guess celebrities.
Yes. Okay. Yes, celebrities, or it could even be a movement. I mean, there's movements that, we see going on now. Is there a movement that you would have liked to, photograph? Yeah. To be a part of, because it's like being a part of history. Right.
So I would love to, I mean, put it out there. We only have about a few months left, but for 50 years of hip hop. Yes, yes. Getting a campaign or something, a story that aligns around that,
I love that. All right, who's in LA right now that we can make that happen?
Yeah, definitely. I've been like seeing like all the campaigns kind of roll out.
Yes.
Like, my gosh. Like, oh man, I want to be a part of that. And the shoot that I did with Lil Wayne and Nas was for Billboard. They had just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Okay. and it was for Billboard's like Power Players, hip hop R&B, 50 years of hip hop kind of anniversary
Yes.
stuff. So it was somewhat still tied to that,
Yes.
you know. But there's like these other campaigns and concepts where it's like really centered around the story of hip hop
Yes.
that I would love to be a part of.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say that.
Awesome.
As for celebrity or public figure, I would say the main people I would name is like music artists actually right now. So I would
Okay.
love to photograph Pharrell.
Okay.
I would love to photograph
Okay.
Pharrell.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think his like work that he's actually put out, it aligns with my style too.
Okay.
This is like, there's so many people, so this is really hard to just like say.
Yeah.
I don't want to like go too high, right? Like,
Why not? Why not?
I mean, I would love to photograph Beyonce.
Okay. Okay. Say
just-
it. Say it. Yeah.
Put it out there.
Speak it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to photograph Barack. You know, I photograph Michelle.
Yes.
Maybe I can at least meet Barack Obama.
Yes.
Photograph him. Get some nice portraits of him in studio or something.
Yeah. All right. So we're putting that out there in the universe right now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's going out there. You know, we know that Barack is going to probably have another book
Right.
at some point, or, you know,
Right.
something about family, or, you
Right.
know, he's going to be a part of, you know, politics for, you know, for as long as he's going to be on this earth, and, you know, just even being an influencer for those who are running, you know, for different positions. And so I can see that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I mentioned Beyonce. I would also love to photograph Jay-Z. He's a goat. He's a goat. So
yes.
yeah, that's there's a lot more, so I'm just gonna leave it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, but that's okay. I mean, you're speaking it out there. What words of encouragement can you share with young Black girls that you know about you in the industry and your future goals? What can you share with them? You know, someone who was you
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah. It's
You know.
it's hard, you know, with finding that community within photography that connects and you're related to it, right? So, but it's out there. The community is out there, and we are looking for more people to come into the community. I mean,
Yes.
the photo community,
Yes.
and give you the tools to succeed as well. So don't be afraid to, you know, reach out to us.
Yeah.
And just, again, you could slide in the DMs or send an email. And a lot of us, you know, in the community, like, we will give you all the tools and keys, like an open book. Like, we don't,
Yeah.
especially me, like, I don't care. You can have everything, all of my contacts.
Yes.
You can hop on a call with me and ask me, you know, any questions about, like, how I got this camera, or what camera I got in the very beginning, or how to price your photography, whatever questions you want to ask. And then, so yeah, finding that community for sure. And again, don't put yourself out there. Just, if it sounds crazy and yeah, you're feeling anxious, like, it's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for you. It sounds so big because you just haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you believe it, you know, again, you know what they say, you're halfway there.
Yes.
So as much, you know, as long as you continue believing it and like putting it out there, your actions will slowly start to like align with it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of the opportunities I've got, like, I would say one thing, and like a week later or a month later or whatever, a year later, like, I have that same client reaching out to me. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to work with this. I just said I want to work with Jay-Z. Maybe Jay-Z, you know, in a couple months will reach out to me. Like, I have to put it out there.
You're speaking
Exactly.
it. You're
So
speaking it.
I'm big on that, right? And then, yeah, of course, like, just continue, you know, telling the stories you want to tell.
Yes.
Don't let anybody else kind of like let you sway from that.
Yes.
And you know, I get it. Like, at least just continue doing your personal projects when you are busy with like the more client work. Just definitely continue doing personal projects because there's a lot of times where you could be just working so much, doing a lot of client work, and yeah, like, the money is good, but you are creative, right? You are creative, so you want to keep that creative mind flowing and continue working on projects that fuel you. So definitely, yeah, doing those personal projects is important.
Do you think that because we do have the ability to have phones now, we're taking pictures of ourselves, that's overshadowing, traditional photography to some degree?
No, actually, I don't think so. The iPhone camera it's really good. Like you can get some really nice photos, and there's obviously like Apple campaigns where they've shot on an iPhone, and I'm like, wow, this looks amazing.
Yes.
But DSLR, mirrorless cameras, all those professional cameras, like I think that it'll be here. But sometimes when I think about like AI, it scares me.
Yeah.
Like that, you can't. We'll see where it goes in the next 5 years. I know it is going to be maybe a lot more difficult. So I would actually say to try to educate yourself on AI, because it's not actually like the AI, right? It's the people behind it controlling it and putting it to work. So that's something I'm actually going to have to work on.
Wonderful. So where can our listeners and viewers find you?
Yes. So I would say on Instagram. Instagram is like the main platform for me. Sage, at Sage East, SAGE period East. So I'm going to repeat that again, Sage period East. And my website is just sageeast.com.
Okay. Okay. I got a little tickle in my throat, everybody. I want to give a couple of shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my daughter who's here with me in LA. I came here for her birthday to celebrate her birthday and got the news that we were going to a WNBA game and it was canceled.
Oh my God.
Boo.
Yeah.
And I also want to give a shout out to my friend Atiba. Happy birthday. I saw you celebrating in Jamaica this week, so I want to give a shout out to you. And for everybody who's listening and watching today, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and share with your friends. Go into all of the directories for us, Apple, Spotify. You can find us on there. If you go through Buzzsprout, you can find us in all of the directories. Also, I just want to say, don't be afraid to start something new. Psalm 16:9 from the NIV version says that in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes his steps. And I feel like Sage's story today clearly shows that we can set plans for our life and then God just totally directs them and takes them into a different place. And so don't be afraid to start something new. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on our Apple platform as well as Spotify. And until next time, we love you and just keep on creating a better you. Bye-bye. Hey, I hope that you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Art of Grace page. Also check us out on IG, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next time.